Welcome to a new Saturday series on the TheJDSgames channel. We're playing Civilization 4 Beyond the Sword, and I have my dad with me, like I have been for the last couple of TheJDSgames. Welcome.
Hello.
Can you tell us a little bit about this game, like what sort of genre it is, what sort of...
Strategy simulation, I guess, would be the best way to call it. It comes close on the heels of Civilization 3, which came on the heels of Civilization 2 and 1 and so forth.
This came out 2005, I believe.
Something like that. Well, it's there's been Civ 5 since release then.
And that was rubbish.
Well, yes and no. Basically, they released it, there was a lot of questions of the AI. But
a little bit complicated as well. Yeah.
There's a Civ 6 due soon, but this is... amongst players is regarded as the best of them so far.
But we still like this one because of what you can actually do. There are 5 different ways you can use. There's advanced, which I've never looked at. Civilpedia, I would advise anyone who has this or doesn't have this just to look at all these things, because you learn a lot of history about the technologies, units,
and buildings. It's like Cyclopedia, but with Civ at the front, basically.
Yeah, technologies, units, and buildings of everything that existed. For example, the granary, what that used to be.
What it is in the game, basically.
And what it was in real life. That's what the background is.
Well, yes, of course.
The background is basically what it's based on around.
It's an amazingly detailed.
Yeah, it's the amazing detail that I like. And then the Hall of Fame, basically all your games that you've played. Obviously, I've only played 2 on the Steam version, but on the disc version, there's a lot more. Multiplayer, that's how me and Day will do a versus in many months' time, because it's every Saturday, and of course there's nothing there. But you can internet games, hot seat, everybody by one computer. But we're not going to do a versus that way, and an email and things. And now to the main business, single player now. There's a play now, there's a load game.
Well, let's go for play now, because you can see all the options about setting up.
Yeah, and then custom game will be done with the versus anyway. So, play now. These are all the maps you can have.
Archipelago,
water map. Powerful name is not optional. I stupidly thought that was not optional, like you're not allowed to have one, but it's just you have to have one.
Yeah, not optional.
Yeah, obviously I got that bit mixed up.
Basically, a load of islands.
Very much so.
Continents.
Some are very random in terms of what they produce. Fractal is completely unpredictable.
I like Fractal because you get weird sort of continent shapes and mountain ranges in odd places.
Yeah. Maybe move a bit closer so people can hear maybe slightly better. Great Plains. I prefer the world maps. This is just a regional map. I don't really like these too much. But this is just like what the USA is like. Which, anyway. Like, the weather's like the only good thing about it, really. Highlands, it's like the Andes and this Nepal sort of area. Ice Age, it's just centrally, that's all you can use.
I can't see the point of playing an Ice Age map, but there you go.
Inland Sea, that's
quite a good. That's quite a good if you want a navy map, but of course you have to build your navy somewhere, so you build them all around the inland sea.
Exactly, yeah. And then lakes, which is one I prefer. No oceans, so navies aren't really a factor. I'm not good with a navy.
Well, no, but you have lakes, and you can
lots of nice clean water.
If there's a big enough lake, you can use that to make a small navy.
There is one mode where you can have the planet Earth, what the planet Earth actually looks like.
Oh, well, the actual map.
And then the civilizations like America would be in America, for example, and Montezuma is the equivalent to Mexico and things.
Yeah, Montezuma
and Britain. Although England do have a tough time because they kind of squash together, and Russia has that much more
France.
space.
It's traditional, isn't it?
Yeah. And then Oasis.
Maybe desert with some water in it.
With some water in it. Desert normally doesn't have
water in it. That's what an oasis is. It's an area of water in a desert.
Pangaea is like lakes, but no real water.
No, Pangaea is what Earth was like before the continents separated. So there's lots of ocean and big landmass.
And then Shuffle is basically random because it has fractal in it.
It'll randomly do one of those.
And then Terra is like the main map. It's the biggest map you have.
Scroll down on the right there. These maps, what does it say?
All begin in the old world, but they're extra large. Yeah.
Extra large.
Everyone starts in one place and they expand to the other one, and then city maintenance is a really big thing.
Big and small, what's that?
Realistic world with highly random land masses, big and small.
I like highly random.
I don't, as you know.
Yeah.
Earth 2, Earth randomizer in actual Earth locations. Apart from that, anything goes. I like some of these sarcastic
It
comments.
doesn't say anything. That does. 2 to 4 continents. Okay.
Hemispheres, medium and small. That's realistic, apparently as well. Tectonics, though, mountain ranges and plate tectonics, more realistic.
Yeah,
sort of
because
mountain
something
ranges.
like a fractal, for example, will put mountain range where there's no chance of really having a mountain range in real life.
Yeah. So lakes or terra. I would normally go for lakes.
Well, let's try lakes. It gives you a nice map. It gives you
It gives you more of an exploring. Yeah, climate-wise, you'd always want temperate, or if you do like a challenge, tropical is more jungly.
Yeah.
Arid is just dry. Rocky is
Temperate's
just cold and
Temperate's
mountainous.
better because initially in the game you can cut down forests but not jungle until you get higher technology. So temperate's a better start.
Yeah, and forests you want to keep for your health, but jungle is unhealthy. Sea level, you'd want a lot of sea. Let's see, just for
What, for bigger lakes, you mean?
and well, just simply for like the what are the water crabs and food resources.
Oh, yeah. We'll try
and also,
medium at sea level. What do you reckon?
I think I'll stick
Play
with
safe.
high.
Safer
You can
than
probably do it in real life, yeah. But duel, this is basically showing how big the worlds are. In a duel match, you only have you versus the computer, or me versus Dave, for example. It was just me and him. But also, more. So much so, this will be 11 people, or like 11 opponents.
Can be.
Well, you can customize it to have 18, or just 2 for the whole world.
For the point of view of demonstrating, if we keep it huge, because then you see more civilizations.
Yeah,
which come across.
more. Well, you can explain more about it in the Civilpedia anyway. And there they all are. American, Arabian, Aztec, the lot. I like American, and he has English, so I can't anyway. But I much prefer the American Empire.
And you have a choice of
Yeah, the
leaders. Now, each leader has 2 characteristics. For example, Lincoln has philosophical and charismatic.
so birth rate of great people.
Yeah, affects the bonuses you get. Let's have a look at Roosevelt. You like Roosevelt, don't you?
Yeah, I always use him for this reason. Industrious, plus 50% world
click on the
production.
picture.
Well, it goes for it anyway.
Industrious organised,
Plus 50% wonder production.
and half the civil upkeep. Each city that you put on it has a certain upkeep.
Yeah, and there's
reducing
less of that.
cost is quite important.
Which is why I always
Is that
use
Washington?
him. Yeah,
Expansive, charismatic. What does that give you, bonus-wise?
I'm trying to go over it. Plus 2 per city. That's actually useful.
2 health
So
per city is
I have had problems with health. 20%.
Build aqueducts, young
worker.
man.
Yeah, but that doesn't do much.
Plus 1 happiness per city as well. Anyway,
Yeah,
your usual.
I'll just do my usual game. Yeah, and then the verses will probably be on your screen since I'd have to wait so long for you to finish your turn. It'll be a bit boring just staying on my thinking.
Well, it doesn't.
And you probably have stuff to talk about while doing your turn anyway. So I honestly think it would.
Yeah,
work.
we'll deal with that when we do the 2-player one.
Yeah, I'll do it by my YouTube name, obviously.
Call yourself
No.
Lord High Emperor or something.
No.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, I don't know any Americans though. I'm gonna
Americans?
have to stick
Trump,
to that.
Clinton,
I'm not a controversial
Bush,
character.
Bush, non-controversial. There is no non-controversial Americans. But anyway,
I'm not American, but I'm not controversial.
okay. Leader difficulties. No.
Now, yeah, that's
Why
look
don't you
at
just-
deity. Mwahaha. Good luck, sucker.
What about Monarch? What does Monarch say? So-
Monarch says, for Monarchs, the challenge definitely starts to ramp up on this level. Upkeep is higher, research is slower. Your people are harder to please, and your computer opponents are just plain smarter.
I think did we play Warlord? Or no?
Yeah, we've been on Warlord for quite a while.
What does Noble say? If you wanted to step up.
Need to balance their many responsibilities. It's most balanced. Veterans of Civ, like they played the first ones, they start here apparently.
We'll go for Warlord.
Yeah, I'm not really a master of Warlord, even though you probably more
I
are.
can win
close.
at Warlord.
Yeah, I've won my first game last time I played, because I just changed a few
Game
things.
speed marathon, okay. Initializing. Yeah.
And Lemon and Nimoy, who played Mr. Spock,
Leonard
was
Nimoy.
the announcer for this game. He said, about 80% of things.
Spoiler alert. His
Not
voice
really.
will come out the computer at some point.
80% of things said. I'm not gonna just wait all that long for all this, but
Random events.
I'll tie to what's happening.
Yeah, we'll show those as they come.
Yep.
Unique
Now-
unit, Navy SEAL, and
Which is a late game. They're both late game things, so they're not really relevant for us in the first.
No,
bunch of the game.
My preferred Civilization English, you get
Red Coat.
You get Red Coat, which is a
I don't know
modified
what. I think
rifleman.
it's a stock exchange. Is the unique.
And a unique building and stock
Yeah.
exchange, which replaces bank.
Every nation has different things. So we get fishing and agriculture starting technologies that we get automatically, but other
English
others
get
won't.
mining
and the wheel.
the wheel.
I think we have the wheel anyway. I'll never have to research it for some reason.
Whatever, mining and something anyway. Okay.
This is the map to start off with.
This
All
is all you
these.
can see.
Let's not start the game in the first episode. We can just look at these buttons that we have. For example, this one. I don't know what this one is actually. Toggles enemy display, so there's no enemies at the moment.
Okay.
And Daddy likes to do this.
Grid.
This shows the grid. I never need it, but you can see the black lines. I think you can.
Yes, you can. You can. There.
Not on the screen. Well,
You can. Yeah. There you go.
Yep. Yeah, I just need to zoom in because the camcorder is a
That's a
little
nice
bit right
picture.
on
Actually,
that
you've got a
end.
couple of resources there.
That's a good spot, yeah, and
If you-
hills and the river. So that's all the things you'd want when you first put a
When you
city down,
start. That's your settler in the middle. That's what makes city.
and that's all it can do, really.
Yeah. And highlighted there is your warrior.
Yep.
He fights a bit.
it's the weakest in the Civilpedia. It says that they are cheap to produce but weak, so you'd want to replace them as soon as. And in the background it says an assembly of warriors is better than no assembly of warriors anything at all. So you can zoom out all the way. Once you've expanded through the whole map, it does scale back to the whole world. Anyway,
Okay,
all the
you've
other
got
buttons.
sheep and
It's pig and cow.
no, sorry, pig and cows. Sorry.
Toggle bear map makes it easy to see the landscape. So the units are now gone, but you see all of the
That's
area you've
confusing.
explored a lot more. Well, because it's the first turn, it's not really that useful.
No.
And then the toggle yield. You'll see that whenever you select the settler, that happens anyway. And this is the amount of squares you have for each city, 9 at the start.
And it shows the resources available. So there's 2 food, 1 hammer. Hammers are what you do production with.
Indeed. Toggle scores visibility. My score on the bottom right is now gone.
Yeah.
Everybody's score will be on the right hand side.
Everybody you meet, you haven't met anyone yet.
Yep. Obviously, I haven't started the game. And
you have. You just hadn't made your first move.
Toggles,
Technically.
it's 4000 BC. Well, you won't be able to see it on the top
No,
right.
I know.
If you go on the edge of the screen, it will start moving in that direction.
Yeah.
And then the last one, which is one I really like,
It-
it shows the resources, just labels them.
As a little thing.
So it's much easier
It's
to
not
tell.
particularly helpful here because you can see them anyway. But when you have a bigger map and you have to zoom out, it's showing them on the screen is really useful.
And any areas.
Okay, so are you going to settle on next to that nice river? Hint, idea. River
will, yeah.
cities are good.
Yes,
So
they
click
are.
on that.
You can name it anything you want, but I would probably suggest just sticking to the names they have, just because otherwise they'll just persuade you to keep doing it.
Now your city area is defined by that blue square, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
If in point of fact, click OK. If you double click, examine city, and so you can see. There you go. That's
At the moment,
your
that's
area.
all you can do.
And you're only developing the
You can only
area in the 2
develop 4
circles.
things. You can only build 4 things. I go settler first, but I think I'll go worker
Oh, that's so
first.
brilliant. I'm talking about these circles. The white circles
Yeah.
are the bits that are developed currently.
And those 2 that are labelled there will be
Yeah.
once I build a worker, which is what I plan to build first. I know barracks and warrior will go first, but I've got a warrior already.
Okay.
I think I'll explore them, but I'm not going to start the game on this first episode. I think I'll just look at
But you
the
can
options.
wander around and.
Yeah, I'm not going to start the game properly yet. It's just basically showing what the game does.
Okay.
Oh, there's research at the top left.
Always start at 100%.
Yep, and I will start with mysticism just so get that wonder going. That's just how I start the game.
Research with. Oh, you started with that. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. And I've took it down to 90. There's less research now.
Yeah, well,
And now I get money, but it takes longer. It takes 26 turns
why
now.
do you whack it back up to 100 and do a bit of
It's
exploring
21.
and see if any nice villages will give you some gold?
As I've said, I will. First episode is just basically showing the modes that you have inside the game, but I'll start. This one shows all your cities. If you have, like, towards the end of the game, this will be filled, like 20 of them.
Oh yes.
Shows the population, how happy it is. This is happiness over minus the unhappy, but I'm net 4 in total.
That's because you've got no overcrowding because you've got a very tiny city.
Yeah. Unhappiness is a bit of a problem for me at times.
Health
So use a
11's
civic.
alright.
And growth 0 because...
No, that's food actually rather than growth. Food's 0 because you haven't...
or growth. It is growth.
Is it? Oh, okay.
But workers and settlers stop growth from happening. And the hammers is how quickly you build things. So the worker will take 30 turns with 2 hammers right now. Or 4. It's technically 4, but it's using the growth as well. Gold is how much money it's producing, which is nothing. And that's the amount of research I'm getting for everything.
In 9 beakers of research.
And culture is a massive one because it expands your borders, and then you have more land area.
The more culture a city can generate, the faster your borders expand, basically. Particularly if it's against a neighbour who's got a particularly cultureful city.
Indeed, that is.
Okay, well, click off that.
The second one is the financial. It shows how much money you got, income and expenses. At the moment, nothing. But city maintenance, if you have so many units...
So many cities, rather.
And so many cities, the costs of those go flying up. So you want to be careful not to overdo things like that. Oops.
Or remove all those bread symbols as distracting.
I much prefer having them on. That's just my game.
I think it clutters I personally think it clutters the screen because you think there's something there to pick up and there isn't. And you can't see the villages as well.
Well, I can,
can't.
but there aren't any on the screen at the moment. These are all the civics you can have. There are 5 sets of 5 on different topics: government, legal, labour, economy, religion,
You start
etc.
as a barbarian despot who's a bit tribalist with a decentralised economy and pagan. So
yeah,
there's room for improvement.
Well,
there,
yeah,
basically.
that's just what you start with. And of course they're low in keep, but if you label over that one, plus 1 military unit.
Hereditary rule
Equals 1 happiness. So if you have 10 military units, you have plus 10 happiness. That solves that problem automatically. And then free speech plus 100 culture in all cities. These are just examples, not necessarily going to be used, but
not till end game anyway.
And then the foreign advisor, everyone I've met, of course, none. Of course, there's so many other different things: glance, active, resources. Basically, resources that you can trade with and won't trade with other people.
Yes.
Again,
it's an incredibly complex game.
It is. This one is the military one. All the military units you have, all you have is a warrior. And of course there's barbarians.
Do that again. This is quite funny. Oh look, there he is.
That's actually quite useful if you want to just like update, like upgrade people.
I've been moving in the game I'm playing at the moment. I've been moving tanks west. But I need to know in which cities they're based before I can do that. So I go to the screen, click on tanks, all my tanks flash.
Yeah.
If I click on
and then
the dot,
barbarians. Let's explain about the barbarians. What are they?
Well, let's go meet some. Easiest way.
Next episode, but just explain like what they are. They're not a civilization. Are they?
No, but they build cities and they go around.
And they just irritate you.
They're deeply irritating, but they're useful if you've got a decent unit to rack up some experience by smacking them.
But if you're not careful, they can destroy you. If you have very aggressive barbarians, they can just take out like 3 civilizations at once.
Don't set the settings to aggressive barbarians, which you can do if you're particularly masochistic that way.
Or you just an idiot, possibly. Then the technology, all the branches. See, we've got fishing, the wheel, agriculture, and that's what we're doing now.
Everybody starts with the wheel. You're researching this and take 21 turns.
But I'll just click on monotheism here. See, it shows the queue. It says it will go mining, then masonry, then mysticism, then polytheism. Monotheism each will take 49 turns. Obviously, the more cities and it'll might be much less by the time we get to monotheism.
Cities generate money and research and culture, basically. So the more cities you have, the more research you can do, and the more culture you have, the more money you get, etc., etc.
Etc. Yeah.
It's best demonstrated rather than.
And then at the end, future tech. That's right at the end of the game, and fusion. Well, future tech's always the last thing to go for.
But kind of fusion is the other end of the tech tree, isn't it?
Yeah. Oops. And then religion again: Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism. I never heard of Confucianism and Taoism.
Confucianism and Taoism, they tend to be they're Asian Middle Eastern religions.
Well,
like
Buddhism is as
China.
well. I think Buddhism's more where Cambodia, that sort of region in the world.
Sort of that kind of Asian, but
yeah. and that's
Confucius
more
and Taoism East Asian.
India, China,
India.
Islam. We all know
Middle
too much
East,
about that.
Middle
I think,
East.
don't we?
Yeah, Middle East, generally speaking.
It's usually blamed for all the problems right now. Christianity is the one where, well, we are, aren't we?
Technically, I suppose. As for blame, people take the blame, not religions. Well, they ought to anyway.
Well, it seems like it.
Yeah, I know.
Because ISIS, mainly.
I love the fact that their acronym is something that was the name of a Greek god.
Of course, that's why they did it probably.
No,
Corporations,
no.
that's just late in the game, but
You can set up corporations to generate you heaps of money.
that's very late in the game, so I'm not going to look at that too much. Victory conditions, that's actually a big important screen. These are all the ways you can win. Of course, in custom game you can customize it to only win in one way. Time, 1,500 turns. Whoever has the highest score wins, and that's the last resort, so that the game actually ends.
Basically.
But you can disable it, and it goes to 3000 AD before you finally win in a way.
3000 AD.
Like Conquest, you only have Conquest. You have to defeat all
the
enemies,
rivals, yes.
and that could
can
take
be
forever.
Well, that can be tricky as
That
well.
would take about 3 years of uploading this game probably for me to
Domination.
do.
I like the domination. You have to have 25% of the world population.
And
Or
have 100%. No one else has done anything
Yeah,
yet.
or 56%.
Or both. You have to have both.
Yeah, you have to have 100%. You have 100% that you know because you haven't met anyone yet.
Yeah, because look, if it was just one or the other, I'd have won already. That's the way it works. Culture, if you get to 150,000 for 3 cities, you win the game as well.
Not easy, but there are.
That's the way I win the easiest.
There are special
buildings
great,
and wonders.
great
yeah.
persons that will do that and wonders and things.
So every capital city has the palace, which produces 2 per turn as a start. The space race, that's a late game thing. You can actually view it now, 4000 BC.
I don't.
How did you build that in 4000 BC? How does that work?
Can't because you don't. It's obviously.
But it's there.
I don't like this. It's the way that other civilizations can sneak a win while you've been doing all the hard work of
Well,
conquering.
no, they have to be technology advanced enough.
Yeah, but what they do is they sit behind their borders in their 9 or 10 little cities.
That's what I do.
churn away at the research.
Yeah, you need way more than 9 or 10. That's not enough for me.
I'm exaggerating slightly, obviously.
And then diplomacy, where you can also sneak one by being very friendly. And I find that tricky because I try and be friendly, but it doesn't often work. This is also a very important screen, second from right.
It doesn't show anything at the moment.
Info screen, it shows your score over the game. Then demographics, like the amount of soldiers you have. Mine is 11th place. And then land area,
Out of
mine's
11.
first. Yeah.
Yay.
But as the game goes on, top 5 cities, again, mine's the only one there at the minute. But
Washington.
5 top cities with the most wonders, the highest
You see, you've
growth.
got 2 large toast symbols over there. I would find that deeply irritating.
I
would
wouldn't.
eliminate that.
And then statistics, how many you built of
You don't even like toast.
worker, explorers, aluminium co-executive, and all the buildings you've
You
made.
don't like toast.
I don't mind toast. I had it a lot in Cambodia. And how many you've killed? See, like, I don't even know how to explain that.
It's a stat freak's dream. This game. Anyway.
Yeah, and then there's one final screen just to irritate the boy. There's nothing on it at the moment. Yeah, that's just spying on people. Anyway, that's the end of
Because
this
you haven't met
episode.
anybody, so you can't spy on them.
That's the end of this episode, guys. Hopefully, not too boring. Just showing you basically all the screens in game and all the different game modes. For example, just the maps you can use, the leaders you can use, the nations you can use, and then in this game, all the top screens on the top right and bottom right. We'll see you guys on the next episode.